Beyond the Podium, sponsored by Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center. Innovative cancer treatment close to home. Together, we're making cancer history.
We make the turn at the 2026 Winter Olympics, the last full week of competition. I'm Anne-Marie Tiernan, and you're watching Beyond the Podium. And we start with figure skating, and the U.S. team has been so strong. To Madison Chalk and Evan Bates, taking silver in ice dancing. And don't forget, the U.S. has already won team gold in skating too. And now the spotlight is on the ladies, and one of the ladies who's skating for Team USA took a pretty unusual journey to get to these games. Matt Renew from Denver has been following the story of Alyssa Liu.
Alyssa Liu, Anne-Marie, and what an unusual approach to these games. At 16, she competed in Beijing and then decided all that pressure was just too much, and she wanted to enjoy herself, be a kid, spend some time with her friends, walked away from skating. Getting away from that pressure must have worked, because now she's at these Olympics skating for gold.
Skating is a sport that demands a lot to reach an elite level.
Most of it was a blur, I will say, just because I was so young.
Taking up almost every minute of an athlete's day. And for U.S. figure skater Alyssa Liu, that was just too much.
I was traveling so much because of it, and I was starting to get sick of it.
At 16, at the top of her sport after winning gold at the 2022 Olympics in Beijing, Alyssa walked away from skating and retired.
I kind of just fell out of love with it, and I was like, after Olympics, I really want to quit. And that's exactly what I did.
All so she could spend more time with family and friends.
I was going to concerts, which I never could have done before.
Doing all the things a teenager usually does. Hanging out, getting her driver's license.
So I could drive myself around, drive my siblings, my friends around. I did a whole year at college and a little bit of the sophomore year as well.
Living a normal life. That included learning to ski.
I was skiing and I really enjoyed it, and I was like, I want to ski all the time.
But it was that time on the slopes, or at least heading to the slopes, that got Alyssa thinking about coming back to skating.
Skiing felt very similar to skating. You know, you're exhausted, your legs hurt, you're cold. That's like everything you feel when you're skating. And so I thought, well, if I enjoy skiing so much, there's no way I don't enjoy skating.
Because in her mind, why drive hours to be cold on the snow when you can find a rink and be cold skating a little closer to home?
It is so inconvenient to drive all the way to the mountains. When an ice rink, you could feel the exact same things that you feel when you're skiing on the rink. I would pick that.
So Alyssa put those skates back on and got back on the ice.
I love the arts, I love dancing, and I love music, and I love sports, and that's what figure skating is. So I kind of realized that.
Better now, she says, than ever.
I just felt stronger, you know, my balance is a lot better.
Now, at 20, she's once again the #1 ranked female figure skater competing at the 2026 Winter Olympics.
I am really excited for it because it's the biggest stage that you really get.
Where she could earn another gold, and after having some fun, show the world all the work she's been up to.
I put so much work into them, like costumes, choreography, and like just vibe of it. And I'm just really excited to display my art.
So great to see Alyssa happy and finding an alternative to that pressure that so many athletes feel when they compete at the Olympics, a different approach that's clearly working. And she's learned to love skiing, because when she wasn't skating, she was skiing, but it was the length of time it took to get to that mountain that convinced her to get back to the rink because it was so much closer.
Yeah, well, she got that comparison. And, you know, she really has been credited with the one who's leading the kindness and unity amongst the women on the team, kind of developing a sisterhood with the other ladies.
And what a powerful team it is. The strongest that's gone to the Olympics in a long time, already showing how that's paying off.
All right. Thank you, Matt. Longtime journalist Christine Brennan has covered 22 consecutive Olympic Games, her very first in 1984 in LA. I had a chance to catch up with Christine, and we talked mostly about figure skating and how the ladies that are on Team USA are very close, a true team.
Let me tell you about the U.S. women's figure skating team, the 3 women who are going to be competing, and an anecdote that happened in St. Louis at the National Championships last month. So Alyssa Liu, who is the reigning world champ, and is the one who, as a youngster, 13, 14, won the national title, and then retired, and then unretired, and now she's back skating better than ever. She has skated, and she's done great. She's in first place. 1 skater left to go. Amber Glenn, the 26-year-old, at that point, 2-time national champ. Amber Glenn is out on the ice. There's one person who can beat Alyssa Liu, and that is Amber Glenn for those 4 minutes. Alyssa Liu does not go backstage the way they almost all do. Sometimes they want to put their earbuds in or their headphones on. They don't want to watch, right? They're nervous. Alyssa Liu stays there, actually just crouches down right in front of us on press row, right by the boards at the ice, and cheers for Amber Glenn, literally applauding and kind of moving around to make sure she can see every jump. And the entire 4 minutes, the biggest cheerleader for Amber Glenn is Alyssa Liu. And sure enough, Amber Glenn was the one to beat Alyssa Liu. What a statement. And they've talked about this. All 3 of them. Isabel Levito also is so happy. They're hugging and cheering. I have never seen anything quite like this in figure skating. This is the sport that gave us Tanya Nancy. And all joking aside, that was a terrible event where the associates of one person, obviously Tanya Harding, including Tanya, attacked and wanted to take out Nancy Kerrigan. Obviously, she came back for the performance of her life and recovered. Nancy Kerrigan did. That was, a long, long time, 1994. Now look at it. We are seeing these 3 who are really competitors, but there's so much more than that. The teamwork, the friendship, the love, they finish each other's sentences, they laugh at each other, they joke, and they cheer for one another. That is remarkable, and what a statement in our world, in our country right now, where everyone's at each other's throats. Look at these young women, Amber Glenn, Alyssa Liu, Isabel Levito, 26, 20, and 18 years old, leading the way, showing us how we can all get along, and even in a competitive way, but have a much better understanding of one another.
Most of the athletes here at the Games have a very busy schedule. They've got practice, they've got competition, they've got media. But there is one athlete, snowboarder Red Gerard, who isn't wasting a minute here in Italy. This is his 3rd Olympics. That's Jen Gerard and her daughter Tegan Gerard, founder of Half Baked Harvest and foodie influencer, who has a whopping 5.4 million Instagram followers, honoring her brother Red Gerard, Olympic champion who's got a gold medal from the 2018 Games. In Italy, Red is between big air and slopestyle events, and he's making time for fun. He went to a Milan restaurant with around 100 family and friends, eating great food, listening to a DJ, spending quality time together, taking a break from the pressure of the Games, and doing something they don't get to do. Typically, definitely not the last Olympics.
It's amazing, to come off Olympics like 4 years ago where there was no family, and then just to do the complete opposite, coming here to Milan. It's refreshing, and just kind of gets your head off actually what's really going on in the Olympics and all this stuff. So it's good just to be here with family and talk about something other than snowboarding every once in a while.
Something that is a long tradition behind the scenes for people that are attending the Olympics is pen trading. It seems every company, a lot of times personalities and brands, create their own pen, they bring it to the Games, and then trade it. And boy, oh boy, is this popular.
It's so popular. It's become a spectator sport, Anne-Marie. I mean, a number of pins you see of people carrying these around. Look at this. Some of these are real collector's items. This is what someone handed me in a trade from Great Britain. If you were a volunteer, you get one of these pins.
Ooh.
It's become a real tradition. I looked into this. It dates all the way back to the early Games. And here at the Milan Cortina Olympics, I've seen people with thousands of these pins. I started keeping them around my neck, but they were way too heavy, so I started keeping them in a bag instead.
Yeah, well, people open their coat, and it's like, oh my goodness.
It's incredible. The tradition is here at the Olympics, I'm learning, once you have a pin, you trade a pin for a pin. So it's this sort of gesture of goodwill, this amnesty between countries. And after a while, you amass quite a few. This has been pretty fun.
What's your favorite?
So my favorite so far has been this one from Italy, and then this one here from USA Hockey. This is an actual Italian hockey team pin that only the players and coaches receive. And these seem to be the most special because these are the ones you don't get all the time.
Right.
So
Yeah, you're not going to trade that one.
not trading that one. Yeah.
All right.
And we've seen people with Olympics pins for generations.
Right.
It's been so fun.
Jake Wittenberg from our station in Seattle. Thanks so much. A member of the U.S. curling team is hitting all the right notes on and off the ice. Meet Ben Richardson next. You're watching Beyond the Podium. Let's talk about curling now. Chris Egan from Seattle has been following the curling team and some of the athletes for quite some time now, on and off the ice.
Yeah, one of my favorite moments, Anne-Marie, I go back to 2018 Pyeongchang. I was there when Team Schuster made history. They won that gold medal. This year's team is Team Casper. Some great members on this team, including Ben Richardson. Grew up in the Pacific Northwest, lives in Minnesota, and went to college at the Cleveland Institute of Music.
I've been doing cello my whole life, so both of my parents are musicians. They started me playing the cello when I was 3 years old. I love specifically the cello. So like they say, when you can like really master playing the cello, it's like you're speaking through your instrument. And so I've always loved that about the instrument. It's a lot of fun to play.
Ben Richardson from Issaquah inherited his parents' musical talents as an accomplished cellist, but it was his grandma that helped him become an Olympian.
My grandmother was from Canada. She was a competitive curler in like the 60s, and neither of my parents curled, but my grandmother literally just reached out to my mom one day and was like, hey, you know there's a curling club in Seattle. Why don't you take him there and just see like what he thinks?
So Ben's mom took him to the Granite Curling Club when he was 13, and the concert cellist was hooked.
You can be competitive with the cello, but it wasn't like the pure like outlet that I needed for competition. So then when I found curling, I was like, okay, this is it. Like this is where I can finally be competitive.
Ben would quickly join forces with his U.S. Olympic teammate, Luke Violette.
I've been playing with him for 10 years, and there's a reason that I've been playing with him for 10 years. He's a great competitor.
From 2017 to 2020, Ben would win 4 national junior championships. In 2022, he would join Team Casper.
You have to work at this sport just as hard as you would other sports. I mean, me and Luke and my teammates, we've all been working at this for pretty much our whole lives. Like we're putting in the work, doing everything we can with that Olympic goal in mind.
And in December, Ben's Olympic dreams came true when Team Casper qualified for the Olympics. But Ben's not in Cortina just to enjoy the moment.
We're there to win. We're there to be on the podium. I strongly think if we can compete like we did at the Olympic qualifying event and the trials and other events we played in this year, I think we got a good chance to medal.
Ben didn't pack the cello, but his time in concert halls has him ready for the Olympic stage.
Any similarities with cello and curling?
Yeah, you know, there totally is. It's performing at a high level, you know, like being able to perform under pressure. I sang and played cello in concerts with like 2,000, 3,000 people watching, so I just have to like embrace the nerves and just calm myself down, and then when I'm out there curling and at the trials in front of hundreds of people, it's the same thing, and I'm very thankful for that.
Ben's girlfriend is Sarah Daniels. She is one of the top-ranked Canadian curlers, so when they're not at the Olympics, they're busy off doing mixed curling elsewhere.
It just boggles my mind when I think of them trying to manage their work-life balance.
Well, the balance is key, they say. You know, Ben plays the cello. There's another member of Team Casper, Luke Violette. He's a UW engineering major. He's a full-time engineer. He says a lot of people come up to him, Anne-Marie, and say, why are you an engineer? Why do you have to do engineering? He say, because I don't make a living curling. I need a full-time job.
Show me the money.
He needs the money. He gets the money from engineering. That also actually helps him with curling.
Yeah, all right. Thank you so much, Chris. Blending Mother Nature with the city of Milan. An inside look at the vertical forest when Beyond the Podium returns. are two buildings here in Milan that are getting a lot of attention that have nothing to do with the games. It's called the vertical forest. These buildings that are covered with plants and trees. So you want to see what it looks like? David Greenberg did just that. This is a site that blends nature with the city.
Milan, Italy is filled with some amazing architecture that for more than a decade
15 years ago, I had the opportunity to design 2 towers.
Has included 2 apartment buildings covered from top to bottom in plants.
Fantastic. This is Rosmarino and this is Salvia. So
they're called the vertical forest and were designed by Italian architect Stefano Borelli.
I'm Stefano Borelli,
who wants to reimagine how cities are built by incorporating more trees and nature into the construction.
A substantial component of architecture.
These 2 Milan apartment buildings have 20,000 plants and trees growing on them.
More than 850 trees and 5,000 shrubs and a lot of different kind of plants, as you can see.
Vegetation picked because they grow well with varying heat, moisture, and being planted on the side of a building.
Specific humidity or the windy condition that you could have in a different part of the buildings.
On the south face has trees that keep their leaves cooling apartments in the summer while reducing 30 tons of CO2 each year and producing 19 tons of oxygen.
They shade the facade and that's reduce the consumption of energy.
The plants also help reduce noise from the city streets below. And there are more and more buildings like these popping up in cities all over the world.
Brussels, in Holland, in Egypt, in China, many in China.
First started here in Milan, where the vertical forest is always changing.
That's a building that changes every season, sometimes change every day, every hour of the day.
And creates a unique living space for humans along with 20 species of birds.
130 families of humans. More than 20 species of birds that are nesting here.
And Stefano says it has a community of living trees right at home above the city of Milan.
Living nature and architecture, living nature and buildings.
More buildings like this are being designed and built all around the world, and in China, they're building an entire city with buildings that have trees and plants all around. After the break, it just might be the best thing you'll see today. It certainly was for one of our Tegna journalists. We'll talk about it after the break. Here in Italy, our Tegna journalists are working under the umbrella of NBC Olympics. Our Cheryl Preheim from Atlanta had a chance to talk with Tom Yamas, the face of NBC Nightly News.
Here on the Nightly News set in Milan at the 2026 Games with NBC Nightly News anchor Tom Yamas. It's so good to see you.
Hey Cheryl, so great to be with you. And how about this view, huh? Beautiful Milan at night.
You cannot beat this view. You see the entire city.
It's so nice, and it just feels great to be out here. Lovely view, lovely time, and it's the Winter Olympics, right?
Yeah. How's the trip been so far?
It's been good. You know, I think Team USA is definitely getting a run for its money. There's a lot of countries that are really competing very well. And it's been fun, and there's been a lot of surprises, and that's what makes a good Olympics, I think.
You've covered almost every major event around the world. How does this experience compare to so many other things that you've done in your professional career?
Yeah, I'll tell you and your viewers a little secret. The Olympics is kind of one of my favorite things to do because, you know, the news can be so difficult and so hard, and usually you're meeting people sometimes on the worst day of their life. Yeah. The Olympics are great because people are happy, they're exciting, there's wonderful stories to tell. Again, those surprises, you never know what's going to happen. And unlike other sporting events, people go to the arenas, and even though there's a rivalry, people are supporting each other. You're hearing languages from all over the world. People have traveled from all over the world. And those athletes, a lot of them have been training since they were little kids for this moment. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, it really is the spirit of the Olympics, that moment in time where the world really, truly comes together, maybe more significant now than in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially with what we do do. The news is so heavy, especially at NBC News. We've been going through so much with Savannah and her family. It's not a break from that, but it's just something else that you can also focus on and report and cover. And I think for viewers, it's good too.
Yeah, needless to say, we've all been thinking about the entire NBC family. No, it's a really difficult time because that's, a personal story that means a lot to the people close to her, and it's just not the same without her.
Yeah, it's not the same. Usually she'd be right here, right by her side, and she's not here, so we do miss her. But we know she has to be with her family, and it's such a strange time. Usually the Olympics, even when we're here, would be the lead story, but it's not. It's the search for Savannah's mother, and so we're still committed to it, and we hope and we pray that they find her.
Yeah, I know so many people feeling the exact same way. Yeah. You've talked to so many Olympians, so many family members. What stories stand out to you?
A couple good ones. Max Naumov, to me, has been just the essence of a champion, and I just, I'm going to tell my kids about Max Naumov because he's so incredible. He suffered so much in this last year, and to go out, and we were inside the arena when he did his routine, and it was perfect. It was flawless. So to have all that pressure, to know everything he's been through, to know that he was skating with his parents, that his parents were in his heart, and they were in the arena there with him, it's just such a beautiful story. And you think about a young man like that, and that's one of the best part about the Olympics, when they deliver, right? And he doesn't leave here with a medal, but he leaves here with so much more, I think. And it was so special. Then I had a chance to speak with Maddie Chalk and Evan Bates, their mothers. They're so great. They were so sweet. They were telling us about sort of the risque romance that happened and how they weren't sure, but then they saw something and they both realized there was the chemistry was much more than just great competition.
Yeah, and the mom said their future's golden, right?
Yeah, it's so funny. They're so great. Men's hockey against Latvia, and there's so many Americans from all over the country that came here because you have the NHL players. Yeah. The whole team's NHL pros. That's awesome. That's exciting, and hopefully they win the gold.
Do you ever look down and say, oh my gosh, where am I? Where am I? Because it's been Super Bowl, it's Olympics, NBA, All-Star Game. I mean, what a wild time.
I was just in the White House interviewing the president.
That's right.
It's been three different time zones in a week. Yeah, it's been tough. I wake up. I don't know what time it is, and if we're late for something, we're scrambling, and I'm not sure what we're doing, but it's okay. It's part of the excitement of the job, and it's such a blessing to have this job because we get to see so many great things. So it's okay.
It's always fun to get together and say, what was the best thing you saw today, Matt?
The Cauldron. By far, the Cauldron. Cheryl Preheim, who's an anchor over at Atlanta, and I were walking through Milan yesterday, and we went through this Olympic experience, and then we saw the Cauldron off in the distance in the Peace Plaza at the Peace Arch, and we've seen them building that thing up, but man, is that something to see. There were thousands of people lined up, sitting down like they were watching a concert just to stare at this cauldron. There's two of them. There's one in Cortina, and it's surrounded by Dolomite Mountains, but the one in Milan is surrounded by beautiful people that are just wanting to stare at this cauldron. And then at the top of the hour, it makes like a show. So it lights up, music plays, and then the cameras and phones come out, and everyone starts taking pictures of this thing. It is spectacular to see. I think I read 1,400 components actually make this thing up, and it expands and contracts like the sun. The Olympic flames right in the middle, and it's burning, and it is something to see. I mean, I've seen a lot of cauldrons in my day, but this one really steals the show. It's hanging in that arch. It's just magnificent, Anne-Marie. You got to get down and see it because it's spectacular, and especially at night when the sun sets.
Oh, I do want to go see it. That's like a must photo op if you're here in Milan. And I was reading about the design of that, about being circular, unity and continuity, just key components of the Olympic Week.
And you see all of that there. Obviously, everyone from Milan is there, but everyone from around the world is there just to see this thing. So it is about unity. It's beautiful.
Thank you for spending time with us. We hope you enjoyed the stories here on Beyond the Podium, and we have much more for you in the days to come. I'm Anne-Marie Taylor.
Beyond the Podium, sponsored by Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center.